This is my story on Rocker Pixie, born part elf, part pixie. It was very odd to the other pixies. The elves didn't accept him because he had pixie wings, and the pixies never accepted him because he had elf ears. He never fitted in anywhere, so he decided to go out on his own. He discovered rock music and adopted the style of a punk rocker. After a few years, his wings disappeared, as he didn't use them. He thought the elves might finally accept him as one of their own, but they said his style was too violent for gentle elves. He ventured on and came across a half unicorn, half Pegasus. He approached it carefully, and the animal turned as if it sensed him. Rocker Pixie thought it might be because the animal seemed to be an outcast like him. Rocker Pixie taught him to ride himself to ride the half unicorn, half Pegasus. At that point, he decided not to let others tell him he didn't belong. He was happy to be different. He decided he would make a club for those who felt like him and didn't fit in. Many years passed by, and suddenly Rocker Pixie was approached by a wrestling company. Finally, feeling wanted, he decided to start wrestling. Met a half-orc, half-troll by the name of Tanka, and they formed a tag team known as the Social Outcasts. This is the second part of my story, and it's entitled The Case of the Missing Pixie Wings. The reason why Rocket Pixie lost his wings wasn't because he didn't use them, like I said in my previous story. The real reason was because he lost himself, his true self, in the disguise of a punk rocker. When he eventually realized this, he decided to get rid of the punk rocker part of his life. His wings finally returned after a few years, after getting rid of his rocker costume. That's when he realized that he lost his true self because he was trying to be something that he wasn't. Instead of completely getting rid of the rocker costume, however, he decided to wear it from time to time, depending on his mood. He learned to hide his wings or make them appear at will. He learned not to let others try to make him become something he wasn't. This is the third part of my story entitled Dark Pixie. Dark Pixie is basically Rocker Pixie, but he suffers from depression and sometimes thinks about ending his life. However, he doesn't act on it, as he knows there is more to life than just misery. He thought the world hated him, but of course that wasn't true. He was well liked. In fact, everyone loved him, and was happy to have him as a friend. He ventured out to find happiness, but quickly realized happiness wasn't something you find; it's something you have. He decided to be happy with who he was. He eventually became happy by loving himself and not caring what others thought of him. His depression went away slowly, but not completely. He was really happy with what he found in himself. The world seemed brighter to him, almost like a light was turned on in his life. And this is the final part of my story Rocker Pixie that you've been hearing about, and this one is entitled Heartbroken Pixie. Rocker Pixie had many relationships, but none of them lasted, which broke his poor little heart. However, instead of giving up on love completely, he decided to love himself. He felt like nobody would love him until he met someone who actually cared about him. He finally found happiness in the world. He had to make sure he didn't get hurt again. He knew that everyone is different, but there was still that fear of being hurt. He was extremely happy with his new partner in life. He was unsure what the future held for him, but he knew he definitely wanted to have his partner. They had only been together for a month and 5 days, but unlike his other partners, the new one treated him like he actually mattered. He was very happy to have someone in his life who cared. He appreciated the fact that he had someone who treated him like a king, and he was going to do the same for his partner.